Smith throws a punch at Officer McGinty. The judge springs into action and helps McGinty bring the defendant to the ground.
Chehalis, Washington. A routine case review hearing turns into a courtroom chase in under 60 seconds, and it ends with a judge on the floor, physically wrestling the defendant to the ground himself. This is the case of 29-year-old Chance Justin Smith.
29-year-old Chance Justin Smith has been convicted of burglary and 2 counts of assault on a law enforcement officer.
And it's a case that started on paper as one of the most unremarkable events on any court's daily docket, a check-in hearing. No new evidence, no new witnesses. Just a judge confirming whether a defendant is complying with the terms of his sentence. But by the end of it, this hearing would produce one of the more dramatic sequences you'll see out of a modern American courtroom, caught on the courthouse's own security footage. Let's back up to how this started.
We're in Chehalis, Washington for a case review hearing.
4 years before this hearing, Smith found himself in front of a judge for a very different reason. Police say he broke into a business, and when officers arrived to arrest him, he assaulted 2 of them in the process.
4 years earlier, police say Smith broke into a business and then attacked 2 officers when they were arresting him. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 3 years probation, and ordered to complete a substance abuse program.
He was ultimately convicted of burglary and 2 counts of assault on a law enforcement officer. Rather than serving significant prison time up front, Smith pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. With one major condition attached, he had to complete a substance abuse treatment program. That's a common structure in cases like this. The court gives the defendant a path to stay out of prison, so long as he does the work. It's a second chance, essentially, with strings attached. Today, Smith is back in that same courtroom, in front of Judge Jolie Joerger.
Today, Smith appears in court before Judge Jolie Yeager to discuss the status of his treatment. Smith is represented by attorney Christopher Baum.
Not because he's accused of a new crime, but because it's time to check in on that probation condition. How's the treatment going? That's the entire purpose of this hearing. And the record isn't good. According to what's raised in court, Smith's attendance at treatment has reportedly been poor. Inconsistent at best. When Judge Joerger brings this up directly, Smith doesn't respond calmly. He becomes visibly agitated.
The judge is not happy with the defendant's reportedly poor attendance record at treatment, and when she brings it up, Smith seems to become agitated.
Anyone who's spent time in a courtroom knows that's usually the first sign something is about to escalate, because a defendant getting confrontational over a probation compliance issue is not a small thing. It's often the tell that the person understands exactly what's coming next and doesn't like it. That's when Court Security Officer Jamie McGinty starts moving towards Smith.
That's when a court security officer, Jamie McGinty, approaches Smith.
In hindsight, it looks like precaution. In the moment, it was standard positioning, the kind of thing that happens in courtrooms every day, and usually amounts to nothing. Then Judge Joerger issues her ruling. Given the noncompliance, Smith is to be remanded into custody immediately.
And when the judge orders that the defendant be remanded into custody, Smith takes off.
And that's the exact moment this hearing stops being routine. Smith doesn't wait for deputies to close in around him. He grabs his jacket off the chair and he runs. Not toward an exit, but straight for the elevators, with Officer McGinty right behind him the entire way.
He grabs his jacket and makes a beeline for the elevators, with Officer McGinty right on his tail.
As Smith slams the call button, McGinty draws his taser and points it directly at him.
As Smith presses the elevator button, McGinty removes his taser and points it at the defendant.
That's not a bluff. That's an officer giving a defendant a clear, final warning, stop now or this gets worse. Smith doesn't stop. He keeps arguing with McGinty, even as the prosecutor and defense attorney step out into the hallway to see what's unfolding.
Smith continues arguing with the officer as the prosecutor and defense attorney enter the hallway.
The elevator doors open, And despite a taser pointed directly at him, Smith steps inside anyway.
Despite the threat of being tased, the defendant ignores the officer's commands and steps into the elevator.
McGinty jams the door before it can close, refusing to let Smith get that elevator moving, and now the two of them are arguing face to face in a stuck doorway, in full view of court staff who have no idea how far this is about to go.
Officer McGinty stops the door from closing, and the two men continue arguing.
Here's the detail that makes this case genuinely unusual, and it's the reason this clip traveled the way it did. It's not a deputy, and it's not additional security who ends up ending the standoff. It's a judge.
Just as District Court Judge R.W. Buzzard arrives on the scene. And then...
District Court Judge R.W. Buzzard happens to arrive on the scene at the exact moment Smith throws a punch at Officer McGinty. And instead of staying back, instead of letting security handle it, Judge Buzzard steps directly into the middle of it, helping McGinty force Smith to the ground. Prosecutor Jonathan Meyer moves in to help as well.
Prosecutor Jonathan Meyer steps in to help as well.
Within a few minutes, additional deputies arrive on scene, get Smith restrained, strap him into a restraint chair, and remove him from the courthouse and into custody.
Within a few minutes, several additional deputies arrive and help place Smith in cuffs.
Remarkably, nobody was injured in the altercation. Not McGinty, not Judge Buzzard, not the prosecutor, not even Smith himself.
Take him to jail. No one was injured during the scuffle, including Judge Buzzard, who is no stranger to foiling escapes.
But it's worth pointing out this isn't the first time Judge Buzzard has personally intervened in an escape attempt. 7 years before this incident, he chased two defendants who were trying to flee down several flights of stairs, catching one of them outside the courthouse entirely. So while it might look shocking to see a judge tackling someone, for this particular judge it's apparently not the first rodeo.
Chased two defendants who were trying to escape down several flights of stairs before catching one of them outside the courthouse.
As for Smith, the legal fallout here is significant. He's now facing an entirely new set of charges stemming from this incident: escape, assault, and harassment. He was denied bail following the altercation, meaning he'll remain in custody as this new case moves through the system. That case is still pending. If convicted on these new charges, he's facing a maximum sentence of up to 20 years in prison, a dramatically higher exposure than anything tied to his original burglary case.
As for Smith, he was charged with escape, assault, and harassment. He was denied bail, and that case is pending. If found guilty of the new charges, he's facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The probation status of his original case is also set to be reviewed.
And it doesn't stop there. His original probation status, the one built around completing that substance abuse program, is now also set to be reviewed, which means the non-compliance issue that started this entire hearing hasn't gone away. If anything, it's now sitting alongside a brand new criminal case, one that exists purely because he chose to run instead of comply. One poor attendance record. One elevator. One punch thrown at the wrong moment, in front of the wrong judge. That's what turned a routine check in hearing into a courthouse takedown that's still working its way through the system. What do you think should happen to Smith's original probation, now that this is part of the record? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom cases like this one.